So I went without posting anything on YouTube in about a year or so. Kind of took a break. In the meantime, I was building this bike for myself, what I really wanted, and this is the end result. Of course, we all know the bike builds are never ready, are never finished. There's always something to improve, but this is as close to the perfect adventure bike as it gets. I started with 2019 Adventure S model. It looks terrible in stock trim, the S model. 2 years ago when it first came out, all the R models were sold and there was a huge line for the R models, and the Rally, I don't think it was even announced back then, and the dealer had like 2 S models on the floor, the orange one and the white one. So I went and grabbed the orange one, and I knew I'm gonna be building the Rally trim myself. The biggest change between the S model or R model and the Rally, of course, is the suspension. I ordered the Rally suspension right away. I didn't even try to ride the 790 in stock trim. So the suspension came in, Explore Pro cone valves, the forks, and also the rear shock. First, when I got it, it came with suspension travel 240 millimeters. Of course, I was not happy. I wanted 270 like on the Rally. Obviously, KTM wanted to differentiate between the Rally and the R models. I reached out to Cockpit Motorsports in the US, in Texas. Alex, cool guy, he helped me out. He sent me the parts to stretch the suspension. I went back and forth with stiffer springs and softer springs. The rear shock was quite harsh. I think part of the problem is because this rear shock sits almost horizontally in the frame. Correct me if I'm wrong. So anyway, at some point I changed the cone valve to a softer one, a different shape cone. So we went with the cone that made the initial stroke a little bit softer and more comfortable, and still retaining that incredible bottoming resistance. Now I would say the suspension is dialed in for me. Okay, let's see what I have in power department, what changes I have in power department. Obviously a Rottweiler intake, then a Rapid Bike ECU tune, small box here which is called My Tuning Bike, another wideband sensor, and it works together with ECU tune. It allows me to change AFR on the fly. So this small display shows the actual AFR when the bike is running. Okay, let's start the engine. Dances around. It's supposed to stay around 30.2 when you open the throttle, and when you're cruising along it tries to stay at 14, a little bit above 14. And of course the open exhaust. So that's the changes in power department. And of course I paid to unlock all the electronic features like cruise control, quick shifter, rally mode. I installed the Scott's damper, works very well. The only thing I don't like is that it raises the bars a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of bar risers. I like to have my bars lower, kind of neutral position. Right above forks. The Rally seat, this one is one piece flat, perfect. The foot pegs, these are lowered foot pegs from Raid Garage. Good stuff. I'm not the tallest guy, I'm about 5'11", but I have long legs and shorter upper body. 34th inside leg, so I'm quite comfortable with the tall suspension, and I felt cramped on the bike. I went with rally seat, which is a little bit higher, and lower foot pegs, and now it's much better. The levers, shorter levers made by Wild and Heart from South Africa. Really nice 2-finger levers, brake and the clutch. Works very fine, very nice. As for the cockpit, so this is made by MST in Italy. A nice piece of kit. It's street legal. Really opens up the cockpit. It's moved forward, so maybe not my case, because I'm not that good of a rider. You don't have to worry to bang your head against the windshield on landings or wheelies. Heated grips, of course. Lycra handguards. Good looking, pretty sturdy, and I like how they clean up this area. I love it. The mirrors. So these are from Suzuki, I believe. It's a very good, very well built, but they are heavy. So as for the navigation, I went with this BMW mount just because I'm using this Navigator 6 on my GS, so I thought I could use the same navigation on the KTM, even though it's slow and outdated and old as hell. Now the skid plate. So this one is made by Raid Garage. It's carbon fiber. It weighs about the same as stock skid plate. So this plate works for me because where I ride we have most of the time sand, soft sand, some mud, not so much rocks. These wheels were built by Hahn, heavy duty spokes, Hahn hubs. You might think those wheels have less weight than stock wheels. Well, not really. Yes, the rims are narrower, less material, and they are lighter. I have 2.5 the rear rim and 215 the front. I wanted to stay tubeless. The narrowest in tubeless was 215. The weight is about the same as the stock wheels. Yeah, they are much stronger wheels, but still I was expecting to drop some weight. So next time I would probably go with stock hubs and get XL rims. And some other minor upgrades like Vanache guard hidden by these tank guards, Rottweiler fuel pump guard, then brake cylinder guard, small things like that. Also this Camel 1-finger clutch. So the general rule and why I want to sell this bike, it is still a heavy bike. It's a beautiful bike, it's easy to ride, but when you get into trouble, it's still a heavy bike to lift. And I already have 2 other heavy bikes in the garage. I really want to see a twin cylinder, a lightweight, decent power bike from KTM. 490, 590, there's rumors and speculations, we'll have to see.